Hello, I'm Brandon Lovett, and today we will be discussing that big compound word that dreads every adult, parenthood. But not just any kind of parents, no. We're discussing the lowest of the low when it comes to parents across all of fictional media. We're looking at the scummiest of the scummy, the rapiest of the rapey, and worst of all, the most abusive of all abusive parents. There are no rules or stipulations for this video. As long as they are all from fictional media, it's fair game. Now, let us not delay. Number 10. Father from Full Metal Alchemist. Some might not consider Father a parent per se, considering the fact that he produced the homunculi asexually. But I do indeed consider him a proud papa, as his name suggests. A terrible proud papa, that is. Now, Father was difficult to put on this list for other reasons. For one, it is shown that he cared enough for his child gluttony to reabsorb him back into his being so he could regenerate. He states that he hates the sight of his children bickering and even refers to himself as a loving father. How sweet. However, all of these are completely eclipsed by the atrocities he commits in the name of fatherhood. For one, he never expresses any grief for any of his children's demises, and even directly kills one of them, that being Greed for his betrayal. He also will not hesitate to abandon even his firstborn son Pride to save his own ass. Nice father, nice. Also, considering the fact that he essentially chooses what the homunculi look like, why the fuck would he give his middle child, Envy, the appearance of a hideous gargantuan lizard? That makes no sense! It's not like it matters anyways, though. The only reason why these creatures were created was so that Father could expel his sins and then get them to do his bidding. Forcing your own son to work in a tunnel for 100 years. Wow, what an asshole. Glad you're not my daddy. Number 9! Retcon Sindel. There are no words to describe how angry I was with the butchering of Sindel in MK11. Literally, the dumbest move in all of video game history. Now, in the original timeline, Sindel was the benevolent queen of Edenia, mother to Kitana, who had her husband killed and the realm taken over by Shao Kahn, who forced her to be his wife. Not being able to deal with the trauma and impending doom, she committed suicide, thus leaving widowed Kitana on her own. While this was a selfish move, Sindel would be brought back under mind control, but was subsequently freed by her daughter. After this, she did her best to make up for all the lost time, all the years of abandonment suffered by Kitana. She even saved her daughter from her own mind control at the hands of Onaga, one of the best endings in MK Deception. She even proceeded to join the forces of light in the Battle of Armageddon. But now, this complex and loving mother was tossed down the drain in the alternate timeline in exchange for a generic, evil queen bitch who never loved her husband or daughter in the first place.
You helped Shao Kahn kill Father?
And traded a weak husband for a strong one.
How could you, Mother?
And was happy when Shao Kahn quote-unquote forcibly took her hand in marriage. She even did the fucking deed herself by stabbing Jared in the heart with a gleeful smile. God. Fuck you, Sindel. And even after she was revived in her Revenant form in MK11 Aftermath, she proceeds to betray her daughter and finally admits to being the Shao Kahn dick rider she always was. I despise this character. But the reason why she's so low is because her original counterpart was indeed a good mother. So I can't put her any higher. But this is still trash. NetherRealm, do us all a favor and omit this shit retcon. Please. MK11's story was a disaster in general, but Sindel's downfall just really takes the fucking cake. Number 8! Rasa. Now, this is an example of a good husband but a terrible father. I don't even think terrible is a good enough word. Oh wait, atrocious. Yes, atrocious, yes. Yes. That's a good word. This guy loved his wife Kurara with all of his heart. But the same cannot be said for the boy that indirectly killed his mother upon his birth. All because Rasa sealed a demon inside of him while he was still in the womb. Well, it wasn't Rasa, but he gave the orders to a village elder known as Chio, who was one of my favorite characters in the show and has an amazing redemption arc, thus leading to him having a horrible childhood. Every single person he came across, even his siblings, looked upon him with fear and disdain! Rasa planned multiple assassination attempts on Gaara in an attempt to make him the ultimate weapon. Even having the only person who showed Gaara love, his maternal uncle Yashimaru, attempt to kill him. This resulted in Gaara killing the man in self-defense, and Yashimaru's last words to Gaara, under the orders of Rasa, was that his mother never loved him. What a heartless thing to say to your son. As you can expect, Rasa would spend the next few years of his life trying to cultivate Gaara into the ultimate weapon still, which he almost succeeded in doing until Rasa was killed by Orochimaru in the Chunin exams, or Naruto beats the shit out of Gaara and manages to steer him on the right path. Rasa was a terrible dad, but I've got to give him some credit for reconciling with his son after he was brought back from the dead, finally telling him that his mother did indeed love him and that he was proud of him. This was a beautiful moment, but again, a few words, even if they are true, do not make up for all of the years and years of abuse and exploitation, even if it was for your own village's sake. Number 7. Beatrice Horseman. You all knew she was going to be on this list. We see her very sad and unfortunate childhood, and we understand why she is how she is, dealing with her deeply misogynistic and abusive father, the death of her brother, and the lobotomization of her mother by her own daddy. As expected, she passed all of this pain onto Bojack, always crushing his spirit, criticizing and insulting him every chance she got.
Come by it honestly, the ugliness inside you.
You were born broken. That's your birthright.
And now you can fill your life with projects, your books and your movies and your little girlfriends, but that won't make you whole.
You're BoJack Horseman. There's no cure for that.
She even blamed him for her getting pregnant with him and thus ruining her good looks. Bojack grew up always being hated by his mother and looked at as the one thing that ruined her life, and he always felt like he had to make up for it somehow. That is an impossible burden to put on a child. Bojack's life was thrown down the shitter the moment Beatrice conceived him. No wonder he became so fucked up in the end, being a walking, talking time bomb that destroys any and every relationship he gets into. Even in her old age, Beatrice continues to belittle Bojack, but Bojack, with a little ounce of goodness for his mother left in his heart, gives her a peaceful death by letting her imagine a beautiful day on the beach with ice cream. Beatrice was a tragic character, and is a perfect example of how pain is passed down through the generations, if not dealt with. Number 6! Martin Mertens. Fuck Martin, just fuck him. We spent the entirety of the first half of the series wondering who the parents of Finn were, while all the while assuming they were good and selfless people who might have been killed or had to abandon Finn for whatever reason. Martin is the complete subversion of this expectation. The first thing he thinks about when he sees his child, when he finds out that his child has freed him from prison, is to find a way to escape the dangerous place without his son. What a good dad. Oh wait, it gets better! He even tries to shift the blame on Finn when he asks him why he abandoned him. and does not give a shit that his son lost his arm trying to reconnect with his father. Later, we even see that he faked an injury to convince his son in spite of his own missing arm, and shows no remorse for his own son's turmoil. Wow, just wow. But here's the sad part. Martin was originally a con artist, but a flawed man learning to be a caring and selfless father. Too bad his past came to bite him in the ass, and he suffered a head injury while trying to protect Finn. And because of that, his head injury made him the person that he is today. Moral of the story is, don't have kids when your life is in the gutter. Kids. Number 5!
「肉付きのいい尻、愛らしい顔に無垢なその性格。ただ新たに内緒で一度だけ私に裸を見せてくれればいい。そう。あなたとの今後のためにも。」おお、素晴らしい。で、その下着はあなたの趣味なのかな？
はい。あっくんはこういう可愛いのが好きだから。
それも脱いで裸になれ。
Number 4! The Ruckuses. Okay. This couple is funny as hell, but as it stands, they are quite possibly one of the worst parents any child could ever have the misfortune of having. Mr. Ruckus himself is a despicably abusive parent who would even knock his son out cold for having aspirations.
I'm going to be.
Mills, I want to be a doctor when I grow up.
Nigga, did I just catch you wanting to be?
Oh, sweet Lord have mercy, my baby!
He constantly belittled his son, criticizing everything he did, even when he was in his old age. This is what further reinforced Ruckus's belief that he was adopted, and it's what further reinforced his hatred of black people. But what really started the root of his hatred was his mother, Bunny Ruckus. The real psychological damage comes in with Bunny. Even though she was nice, she was quite frankly a delusional bitch who fooled herself into believing that her blonde hair was really hers, and that she would have blue eyes like a white woman one day to match it. She told Ruckus the big lie that he was adopted and that he was a white baby with revitiligo, an absolutely oblivious bullshit skin condition that makes a person's skin become darker. Ruckus, of course, believed in this BS, and this, in turn, turned him into the most racist man on the planet, openly voicing his hatred for blacks and Mexicans, who really anybody else who just is not white. So, when you get a physically and mentally abusive father and a mother who tricks you into believing that you're something that you're not, you get a massive recipe for self-loathing that destroys you from the inside out. Nice people. Number 3. Peter and Lois Griffin. You knew I was going to put these horrible excuses for parents on this list. Peter and Lois are the cream of the crop when it comes to nuclear bad parents. But it wasn't always like that. In the earlier seasons, they were actually good and kind, albeit misguided at times, parents. But unfortunately, as new writing staff came in and the show got more and more tired, seasonal rot kicked in and the morality of almost every character went down the drain, Peter Griffin, a once good-hearted oaf, became a downright evil and sociopathic man with no regard for his children, especially Meg. He's always singling her out, harshly criticizing her, attacking her, and just downright abusing her. He doesn't even give a damn about his son Chris either, and abuses him.
Is the real dad? We never switched. Wait, we don't even look the same. All right, when's my birthday? Ah, crap. February 8th. Ah! Yeah!
Too. Half of the time, he forgets that Stewie is actually his child and treats him more like an object. Arguably, the worst thing he did was throw him behind the car while Lois was backing up. I'm sorry, this shit was kind of funny, but it's horrible. So he could blame his head injury on her. What the fuck? Lois is just as bad as her husband, and treats her kids like shit too, though she hides it better than him, and admittedly has more caring moments. She steals money from her son, and admitting to chickening out and purposefully trying to have a miscarriage with him, gave her daughter drugs and wanted things to take their course, and even made out with her boyfriend because she felt lonely. And really the only child she acts semi-decently to is Stewie, though even she abuses him half of the time. When your last words before you and your family are about to die, or at least when you think you're all going to die is,
I just hate being around the kids.
What?
then you know right there that you have a parent that just doesn't give two shits. Number 2, Mary Jones. Mary is without a doubt one of the most disgusting, despicable, and downright just pathetic parents in all of fictional media. And let me tell you why. The main gist of the story is that she's jealous, envious of her own daughter because her husband would rather rape his own daughter than be with her. Yeah. And as you can imagine, she treats her daughter like shit because of this, and she's scamming the welfare just to get money out of it. She doesn't care about her daughter's future at all, was kicking her when she was giving birth to her first child from her daddy, who has Down syndrome, and she treats that child like shit.
You're a dummy, bitch. You will never know shit. Don't nobody want you. Don't nobody need you. You done fucked around and fucked my motherfucking man and had 2 motherfucking children, and one of them is a goddamn animal running around looking crazy as a motherfucker. Bitch, you know what? See, I think you're trying me. I think you're really trying to fuck with me.
And when Precious has her second child, she attempts to kill them both by throwing a TV down on them when Precious falls down the stairs in an effort to escape from them. Mary is just pathetic. And the fact that we get no backstory from her is just, it honestly just makes it worse. You can't feel any sympathy from her. Mary, I'm glad you died alone in your apartment from AIDS. You're just one disgusting, filthy bitch. Gross.